So this video is going to be about why I think the world is going to change because of this coronavirus. Things aren't never going to be, back to normal or going back to normal in a sense, and also about kind of like how the market's looking this week. As we know, at the time of recording, day before tomorrow, I think March 23rd tomorrow, but the future is already plunging over 5%. So it looks like it's going to open negative. But it looks like all the gains that have been made since Trump took over being president are completely like wiped off now. But before we get into the market and what's really going on there, I want to take a moment to talk about. I had a really interesting conversation with somebody earlier this week, and it prompted me to make this video and really to talk about this subject. When we were talking, we both believe that the world has changed forever, and not just because we like aren't going out anymore or anything like that, like we're stuck at home, like quarantine and chill or whatever. But like, no, it's literally changed in the sense that people are staying home, and for the first time ever, we're really truly utilizing the power of technology, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. A lot of you guys have like jobs that you're like, man, I could do this from home at least once or twice a week, right? And the bosses were just never up to it. It was that generational gap, and now, when you are forced to do it, you kind of just start seeing like, wow, this can be done. Hey, I can be more productive. And I think things are going to change forever. I think the way we work are going to be changed forever. Now, of course, when you have blue collar jobs, and what I mean by blue collar job, there's some because people don't know. There's blue collar or white collar. Blue collar jobs are just like jobs where you're actually using your hands and you actually have to be there, and like you're working on a machine or you're putting together a car or you're making something with your hands and you like you physically can't. Like a cop is like a blue collar job in a sense, right? You can't just call a criminal and be like, all right, man, I think it's time for you to go to jail for a little bit, right? No, you got to actually go do it. White collar jobs are your accountants, your HR people, your creative people, people that are like developing code or just uh, running operations of companies and like are like a lot. There's a lot of them out there too, and anything you can pretty much do from a computer where you can log in and just talk to somebody without actually having to physically be there by stamping or notarizing something would be considered that. So for those people, and it's going to be a dramatic shift, right? And if you think about it, just real quick, you're going to save time, you're going to save money, lower the carbon footprint. Got it all written down here. Your happiness tends to go up more, your productivity will go up more, and your work life balance is more balanced, and of course your creativity goes up. So we could check off those boxes one at a time. Like time and money are kind of hand in hand. So you're waking up at like 7 a.m. to go get ready, to then go drive to work, then log in, say hi to Karen, and then you eat, and then you're like, all right, let's get to work. And then you go out to get lunch, and then you come back, and then work out the rest of the day. Then you drive home. Well, just to drive, just from waking up, getting ready to driving, and then driving back home. Some of my friends that live and work up in the Bay Area, that's like 3 hours for them, because they can't afford to always just stay in the city, right? So that right there, that time is going to be saved, and right off the rip. So forget the money, because remember, we're trying to make money so we can buy back our time, right? So that's it right there. The carbon footprint. You're not going to have as many people, jumping in a car to go drive to lunch or go drive. If you're at home, you're going to wake up, roll out of bed, maybe brush your teeth. Unless you're an animal. If you're an animal, you're just going to flip open the laptop, fire it up, hit the Zoom meeting, figure out what you need to do for the day, and you're done. And then probably go back to sleep. You know what I mean? Or take breaks. But overall, I think it's going to allow people to actually be more freer. Of course, you're going to be more creative when you're in your own space. Right? You can make a little office out of your living room, and when you're kind of like distracted from work, you could just literally walk away. And that time that you're saving, on the high end, it's 3 hours. Here in the valley, it takes about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Sometimes I'm going to give or take 30 minutes to commute, because there's some days that are way faster, some day lower. But those 30 minutes you're saving there, and then 30 minutes back, that hour a day you're saving in your personal life, dude, you could use that to go work out. You could use that to learn something new. And I don't think anyone likes having someone breathe down their neck. Of course, you're still going to be held responsible for whatever it is, whatever work you're doing. Because if you're not getting done, your boss is going to email you like, yo, what are you doing? Like you need to whatever. And I know people aren't going to want to lose their privileges of having to go in. So they're going to want to do a better job. And sometimes you get in a groove and you're like, yo, let's just knock this out. And that works out. And then on the company side, think about it. If you're a company like for my startup Scrubs, like we're growing, I have a vision for the company, never to really have a huge like central base where everyone meets. Like we will have, whatever you consider huge, depending on how big the company gets. But I want everyone to be able to work from home, and then once a week or once every other week or once a month have certain people do meetings in person so you let the juices flow and you kind of get creative. But overall, I think working from home is here. It's here to stay. And I think we've changed forever. And I think the economy is now also changed forever. So if you take a look back when I talked about, I don't think people realize how severe this coronavirus is and how detrimental it's going to be. I still think we have a long, long way to bleed in this economy. And the scariest part is it's been now running on a month since this started tail end of February, and now we're at the middle of March. It's almost been a month, you could say, when we've hit that strong territory. So overall, it's just one of those things where I don't think that it's going to be able to recover as fast. So, like, working from home is going to change forever. But the actual economy now switching over, why everything's bleeding out, I still think there is a liquidity problem. I think it's hard for the government to get the money into the hands of people in need. Stats coming out yesterday, I guess when I said there's going to be less than 50% of Americans have $1,000 saved, well, I guess that same percentage, so you're talking about 100 million plus people, cannot take a hit of $400 or more. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I have the answer or anything like that, but I think instead of just giving out checks to everybody in cash, what might be better is to go ahead and open up, like partner with these private companies like Synchrony, like the Cash App or Venmo and different PayPal subsidiaries, and then offer low percentage cash to people that need it immediately to pay rent, to pay food, to pay whatever, and offer at such a low interest rate, like less than 1%, and just make it simple interest. So it pays back. So the taxpayer doesn't take the burden in a sense, but it also helps the people that need the help right now. Because a lot of these people, man, they're good, hardworking people. They just, sometimes you just don't get a break in life. You get stuck in life, and I think a lot of the world is waking up to that right now too, because the way you're forced to live right now, you may not know it or you may not have thought about it till I say it right now, but I hope you have. But that's how a majority of the world lives. They wake up, they just do what they got to do, and then they're done. They don't have the luxuries that we have. If you went to the store and saw that there wasn't toilet paper there, that is more than, I would argue, at least 70 to 80% of the world lives like that. They can't just go somewhere and pick something up, and it's humbling people too. But back to the regular people, sometimes you just don't get a break in life. You made a couple of wrong decisions, and we're human, and you just never get up out of it. Like, you didn't graduate high school, or you graduated and then you ended up getting someone pregnant, or you ended up getting caught up in a sticky situation, and you ended up being on the other end of the law, and you never got that next break out, and you kind of just stuck in this thing, and then you start getting bills, and then life happens, right? So I'm not saying that these people are wrong for being in the position that they're in. I think we need to help them because they are ultimately the engine that makes everything go. If you get these people to fall behind, way behind, and they can't pay rents, and then they can't get up ahead or get ahead, or or even, I mean, stay afloat. I mean, that's going to be huge problems when it comes voting time. I mean, because at the end of the day, you got to vote for whoever makes most sense to you. Whoever's going to help your life, you think the best is going to do the best for you and majority of the people, right? So I think all politicians on both sides should have a huge urgency to try to help how they can. But at the same time, I get it. They're also in a rock and a hard spot, because if you just give up and just continue to print money and you're devaluing here, it's going to make inflation go through the roof, because money's not going to be worth anything. If everyone had $1 million today, and you woke up and had $1 million, I mean, I'm being crazy with the million, but follow my logic. If everyone woke up with $1 million today, what's $1 million worth? You know what I mean? Like, who would care? You're not gonna. And the main factor here is your purchasing power for your money. You used to be able to buy a bag of hot Cheetos for $1. Can't buy it for $1 anymore. It's $1.89. And if this money keeps going up like crazy, the best way I can explain it in layman's term is that same bag of hot Cheetos is selling for $1.89, $2 right now. Is probably going to sell for $6. So your purchasing power goes down. So who loses in all this? It's the people that save. If you've been saving and you've been holding your money for a rainy day, or you've been holding your money for retirement, and inflation kicks in, you are going to be the one that gets screwed. The investors are always going to be fine because they're in hard assets. Assets are going to go up, they're going to go down, but they're playing the game with it, right? They have something that's real. If you're in just money, you're just in the good faith of the United States government. And if they default on the debt or they are very irresponsible and it goes through the roof, then you lose everything. Look at Zimbabwe. You look at like the Weimar Republic way back in the late 30s, or sorry, it was like mid 20s, which gave the rise to Nazi Germany. You look at Venezuela and what happened there. That's not a place we want to be in. So economically, that's why things are bleeding, because people are most like uncertain right now, right? And a lot of these models, when these big firms are buying up stocks and stuff like that, they're based on this percentage of interest rates. Well, guess what? When inflation goes shooting up, how to combat inflation is you shoot up interest rates, and when that happens, you're going to have another big blow up. It's a bigger topic than that, but this it's possible that is what could happen. And logically speaking, when I look at it, I think that is what is going to happen. And also, when I talked about oil and oil being super low and everyone cutting down supply, and only OPEC being the smart one to rip it up, when demand does come back on, when we start using gas and everything again, that's going to make everything go again all over. So I think this whole year is just going to be filled with volatility. You're going to see 5% up, 5% down. There is an opportunity for you to make a shit ton of money, but you're going to have to be right. And that's gambling and that's speculating. And I really don't want to do that. And I really don't want to see anyone lose their money doing that. But I think 2020 changed the world. I think the technology that we have in place, from being able to work from home and being more productive, I think that's here to stay. I think volatility over the next year and a half is going to be here to stay until at least we get a stabilization of what's going on. And I think the American people, unfortunately, the ones that are suffering the most are the paycheck to paycheck people, the average American. They're going to be hurting right now. And my heart goes out to them, because it's very, very stressful. I remember a time when, I was out on my own, when I didn't have, the luxury of just having like a bank account or just having parents or anyone to help me. And it was just kind of like, hey, you're on your own. And it was a scary freaking thought. You had to make rent and you're going to get that eviction notice. You're have to pay that power bill, or else you're not going to have freaking power in your house, and they're lenient, but to a certain point, right? And so I think we do need to do something to help them very, very quickly, to help majority of the Americans really, really quickly. But at the same time, we have to be careful what the definition of helping in the short term is compared to destroying in the long term. And that's a tough job. That's a tough ask. But for you right now, if you're thinking about the stock market, you're seeing everything go down, like I said a million times before, just let this stuff just shake out. Let it shake out. Even if you were going to buy a stock at $5 and it went up to 10 and you thought it was worth 30, which I do think a lot of the shares I'm looking at are, I'd rather buy in at $15 and have it very, very stable and then just grow and get to where it needs to get to, than try to buy it at 5, then have it go down to 2, then me need the money and then be screwed. You know what I mean? So, when you're making an investment, just please remember, don't speculate. Try to use the fundamentals. Try to use common sense. Like, okay, this is making this much. It's going to continue to make this much because XYZ. I think it might grow this much because XYZ. Okay, and because of this, I think the value is this. Not just, oh, I think they could do that. Yeah, let's go crazy. And that's where a lot of people, end up getting hurt. But I hope this kind of helps out. And I'm very interested to see what the market's going to be doing this or tomorrow, Monday, and just kind of how it goes for the rest of the week. We're looking forward to those guidance. Gonna see what all the companies' earnings are coming out right now. Gonna see what they're projecting and what they're seeing. That's gonna give us an even more clearer picture, because they're on the front lines. They're on the phones with their suppliers from overseas and seeing what everything is. But I don't know. I hope hope you learned something from this. Please like, share, comment, DM this to a friend or somebody you think might be interested in business or might be interested in a new perspective. Thanks for the follow and thanks for watching.